This is super easy and requires minimal effort and skill. I'm using these henna stencils I got from Amazon. They have a sticky backing which adheres to the skin. You're gonna need a henna cone. I'm using this one I found on Amazon called Kaveri Henna. Use whichever henna you prefer. We're also gonna need some wipes, scissors, and a dark brown eyeshadow. Again, this palette is from Primark and a steal at just £4. Now get your stencils and cut them to fit your hand. I have small hands, so I cut mine into smaller pieces. This makes it easy for the stencils to stick down flat on your skin. I've peeled off the backing and stuck them down. Now, taking a medium-sized blending brush, I'm going to swirl the dark brown eyeshadow over the stickers. Once you peel them off, you're going to be left with markings. Use these markings as a guide to trace your henna cone over. I like the variation of thick and thin lines in these stickers. This is fun because you don't need to think about what to do next. All you need to do is pipe over the guide. For tips on troubleshooting any issues you may have, watch until the end of the video. So this concludes my henna hack tutorial, and this is what it looks like after I finished. I haven't washed it off yet, but I will do when it's done drying. I've added some more details on the ends. I did some little circles, dots, a couple of leaves just to make it look a bit more interesting. Now to troubleshoot any issues you may have when doing this. Now with henna cones, especially with cheaper ones, what I find is that when you squeeze them, when you start using them, there comes a point where nothing comes out and you just can't squeeze it anymore. And the reason this happens is because there's an air bubble trapped in the cone, and the best way to get rid of it is to get something like this, a cotton pad, and just squeeze as hard as you can until it all just bursts out, and that's when you know that the air bubble has left, and then you can continue piping away. Or you could even just decone them, so just remove the henna from the package and put it into a henna bottle, which you can also buy on Amazon or eBay. I've brought one, but it hasn't come yet, so when it comes, I'm sure it will be a lot easier because it will be in a bottle and there'll be no air bubbles, and you can just and the thing with this henna is it oxidizes, so when you first wash it off, you'll be left with an orange stain, and then after a few hours, when the stain oxidizes, it turns into a reddish brown. So be wary of that. With henna, don't feel like just because you've washed it off it hasn't taken. It might be that it hasn't fully oxidized, and that's why it still looks really orange. So yeah, some people say you can also make a specific mask for your henna, where, like my auntie used to say, if you mix sugar and water and just put it on the henna and let it dry after it's dried, so when it's like crusty like this, you just put a sugar and water mixture on top and then let it dry again. That will make it darker. But honestly, I think the reason why it works is because you're reactivating the henna, and when you reactivate it, it starts to work again. So when it's dry, it doesn't really work, if you know what I mean. So you could potentially just use anything wet. Some people say lemon juice is great. I just say just dunk your hand in some water, right, and then take it out and just let it dry. Do that like a couple of times if you really want a dark stain. You can get instant henna as well online. So instant henna, you just put it on and within minutes it leaves a stain, and it leaves a dark stain. You can also get black henna. I mean, go wild, do whatever works well for you. This trick is really easy and convenient because a lot of people, they don't tend to have an idea. I mean, if you have a very little skill and you don't know how to do henna, which, let's be real, the majority of us are like that, it really helps having a stencil or a design just as base. And so what the sticker does is when you put it on and you just kind of shade the eyeshadow over it, and when you peel it off, it leaves those markings, and then you can just pipe on top of those markings. And if you like, if you're a lot more creative, you can even manipulate shapes and kind of go along with it. You can just put the stencil on and pipe over it, but I don't really like the look of it. I feel it's not as nice as having a piped henna look. I like the look of it being piped. It looks more genuine. It looks more spaced out and gappy if you just put it on top of the stencil, is what I mean. But yeah, try this out. Let me know what you guys think. I think it's a really cool hack, and I'll probably be using it for Eid. I might get a nicer stencil though. I'm not the biggest fan of this particular stencil, but probably buy a couple more on Amazon that I actually like.